Sharon with Yaya. My past few shows, I have been focusing on people's passion as well as I've talked about mental health and just wellness overall. And so I'm going to keep going with the angle of following your passion. And today I have actress, model, dancer, Sharon McKay-Jackson. And we are going to talk with her about her passion for modeling and as well as talk with her about other things that she is doing and just really get into um, what it takes to, follow your dreams, never giving up, and just being able to stay the course. So, Sharon, how are you?
I am blessed.
That is good. I'm so glad you decided to stop by and speak with us. So, as we get into the interview, can you first tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are?
Well, I would say that I am a role model for representing the plus size models. It's something that I just recently got into. Been doing it for about 5 years, but I love what I do. And my passion is definitely to encourage those that may have low self-confidence, low self-esteem, to just believe that you can do anything regardless of your size.
That is great because sometimes ladies, especially us with a little extra meat on our skin, on our bones rather, sometimes it's difficult to get into different areas of entertainment, modeling, acting, whatever the case may be. And, which I think is, sad because there are a lot of people who are not a size 2, 3, 4 that are beautiful, that have skills, talent, and everything that comes with being a successful model, actor, actress that will, that can inspire others to do just what they're doing. So I'm so glad that Sharon started on her journey as a plus size model. And speaking of your journey, can you talk about what were some of the challenges that you faced?
My biggest challenge has been my age. A lot of people feel as though there's a certain age that you can't model, a certain age that you cannot act, a certain age you can't dance, but I proved them wrong.
Right, that is good. Now, speaking of proving them wrong, I know and we'll go back, but we were talking earlier about your experience when you did the dancing audition. Can you talk about that?
Well, I was actually in New York, the IMTA 2015 convention, in which was very challenging. I had to model, act, and dance. And I auditioned for someone who I had no idea whether or not I was going to make it, and he just simply made me do the audition in front of everyone. At first, it felt a little bit embarrassing, but I took what I had inside of myself and I shaked it off, and I made it, opening up the New York IMTA Convention 2015.
Right, that's so awesome. Now, so let's go back. Now, when did you know that you wanted to pursue plus size modeling and really, like you said earlier, despite your age, being a plus size, and I wouldn't really consider you plus size because you look fabulous.
Thank you.
Not that plus size doesn't mean that you don't look fabulous. So let's talk about the dancing. You shared, I think, an amazing story with me, and so I think it's a very good story. And can you talk about that with our Japanians so that they can get a feel for what it is that you experience when you go out on these auditions and things like that?
Personally, I would say that it takes a lot of confidence to go out there as the model and the size that you are. But who wants to see the same size all the time? I consider us to be unique, being the plus size full-figured women. I would say that when you go out there, know what it is that you're representing and who you're representing. And on top of that, you're taking some things out of yourself when you dance that needs to be out and letting the world see.
Yes.
Anybody can do it, but they have to see it coming from someone that has that confidence.
Mm-hmm. So talk about the show where you did your dancing.
IMTA.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, the audition was a challenge because I didn't know who the people were, but actually I worked better under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to tell you that it was awesome because they chose me for the dancing as well as for the model, and I had to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that dancing is something that I love to do, So when I was chosen, I actually cried because
wow.
I'm trying to tell you it was awesome. And when it was time for callbacks, they actually remembered me as the dancer. So.
Now that is a good story. So you talked about the pressure and you cried or whatever. And I think what I addressed on my last show is that people just see the final product, but they don't see what you actually have gone through to get to, where you are. So talk about some of those experiences and how you were able to overcome them.
I'm going to be honest with you. Personally, my foundation has been overcoming the things that I've been through. It has not been easy. It has been about 5 years of modeling, acting. The dancing probably just began about 2 years ago. And Zumba. I didn't have the steps down. I was one of the ones that wanted to stand in the back. I took the dance classes. I couldn't keep up. The right feet wanted to be the left feet, so they wanted to work together. But then one day I decided I'm going to get at the front and I'm going to be with the instructor and I'm going to watch his feet. And actually now, when they teach the class, every line dance that they have, I know how to do. They'll actually have me come up to the front and do it.
All right, so you went from basically student to instructor. And that's really what happens sometimes when you have your experiences. You have some people that go to school to do what they do, and there's nothing wrong with that because you need to perfect your craft or whatever the case may be. But sometimes you have to go through those challenges, like with what Sharon was saying, her feet crossed over. They didn't know one another, but then she kept trying, and so I think that is great that she was able to overcome that. So with that experience, you pretty much moved from student to instructor, and without that perseverance and that willingness and that drive to be better, then you probably would have just stayed in the background. And some of us were comfortable with the background, but I'm glad you pushed forward and now you're at the front. And so what would you say, that we talked about obstacles and challenges, and people may think that your toughest moments kind of is the same thing, but I think it's a little something different. So what were like your toughest moments like in terms of maybe you didn't get a call back or something like that?
My toughest moments has been the fact that I probably have been to a lot of these different states, and you know that you have it. I've even done things such as competed in pageants. I knew that I had the pageant down packed. I knew that I should have been the winner. Everything was piece upon piece. I went to a totally different city. No one knew who I was. And when I got the first runner-up, I wasn't really comfortable with that, but then I knew that deep down inside, regardless of how many ribbons, how many medals that you receive, what did it take to get there? And I gave it my all. The obstacles, I would say, have really been challenging as far as, like you say, the fashion shows, the hair shows, oh my goodness, the acting. I've driven many miles. Yes. It does not stop me. I'm going to keep going until I make it. Do you know how many people are depending on me? But for one, how true am I to myself? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make it. So.
And speaking of making it, I don't know if some of you are familiar with women's empowerment that happens here in the Triangle. Well, Sharon has been slaying, if you will, the runway for that portion of the show. And the first time I knew Sharon before. Actually, I met Sharon a couple of years ago. So when I was actually at the show and they did the modeling part, I was like, wait a minute, I know her. And she was walking tall, and she was owning that stage. And I know you've had other experiences modeling. Can you talk about different runway shows that you've done?
I would say my favorite one was probably Florida, as well as New York, which I recently just did. Florida was different because I was among the full-figured women, and so, but I was the tallest. And so it was tough, and a lot of the clothing did not fit. but they made it work. My favorite outfit is actually on Facebook, which is The Feathers by Edward Dillard. And they chose me because, again, I was the tallest contestant or participant. And I worked that runway. Regardless of what was behind me, I knew what was in front of me, and I own that stage. So.
I've seen you own it. So can you tell us about your upcoming projects and what you're doing now, things that you're looking forward to?
At the present time, I'm actually judging local pageants in North Carolina and South Carolina. I just recently received a message for me to actually go back and get the certification to do things such as Miss America, Miss USA, Mrs. Durham. I just recently got this email, so I'm going to go back and get my certification because, again, I definitely have a passion for children. I'll tell you, about maybe 2 years ago, I was at a fashion show, and a young lady felt like I had that drive. You know, I was strong, acting like I was running the runway show, but she was like, I think there's something else that you can do. I heard you talk about the fact that I was working in pediatrics at the time, and that how much I love children. And ever since that experience at a fashion show, Davis Bridal, I was introduced to the pageantry line. And ever since then, that's what I've been doing. Sometimes I have an upcoming pageant now on November the 7th, 2 in 1 day.
Wow.
They call me because they feel like I am the true judge. I don't look at anybody. If I see a contestant that I've seen before, I judge extremely fair. I look at everything from the head to the toe, but I have to see those eyes and I have to see a smile. It really makes the day for me, but that's one of my upcoming projects, as well as possible Atlanta. So.
And that's one of the things that when you actually step out on faith and pursue your passion, it can go in a whole nother direction that you never even imagined. So I don't know, when you started doing modeling and dancing, did you even think that you would, be a judge for pageants?
No, ma'am.
And see, that's why it's important. And I keep stressing that even if and we want everybody who's pursuing their passion to make it, even if you don't make it, you will not regret at least trying. I think the worst thing that you can do is have this desire inside you and not even, pursue it. And then sometimes we think about, well, how can we pursue it? We don't have the finances, things like that. I just say do it. It'll all fall in place. So tell us how we can keep in touch with you or where we can follow you on social media.
Actually, on social media, I am known as Sharon Bronze Beauty McKay-Jackson. Obviously, today I am Black Beauty.
Yes, she is the Bronze Beauty, yes. So that is her I think that name is fabulous. It just defines, part of who she is, and I just love it. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead and let the people know how they can get in contact with you.
I would say, as well as I have an Instagram page, which is Sharon McKay F. And so besides that, you see me with different looks, whether it is the short hair, the long hair. My thing is just be unique. Regardless of what page you're on, just know that you are representing and that you are being watched. Someone's going to see you. And when that day comes, with the confidence level, you will be chosen or picked up. And all that you've done financially, prayers, my God, it will definitely pay off. But don't look at it as being, I've wasted. There's no training. I've been to 2 different trainings in my time out of 5 years. And it's never, I feel like in the end, it'll never be in vain. I didn't keep pushing for nothing. And I had a lot of support, especially when I went to New York for 11 days. It took a lot to do that. Financially, it was a big strain, but I just put my trust in God and just said, I'm gonna do this. And I did. I got down there and I actually won. Out of 14 competitions, I won 9. I came home as Female Model of the Year. And let me tell you, when I wore those jeans for that contestant, I wore those jeans and didn't even want those jeans on, but they was painted on me and I walked that runway.
You said they were painted on you.
They was painted. They was painted.
Well, folks, you heard it here. So is there anything that you would have done differently?
I would say that if I could do this all over again, I would have started at a younger age, but age is not a factor. If you want it, own it. It doesn't matter what age you are. And my motto is, if you fail to plan, plan to fail.
And that is a great motto to live by. Sharon, thank you for joining us. I'm so
Thank you.
excited you decided to come. I hope that you guys out there who decided to join us on the show gain something, learn something, and can take something that should inspire you to continue to move on and move forward with your dreams. Thank you for joining us today. Today was an amazing show. We talked about passion, persevering, and basically not letting anything get in your way, whether it's age or size, whatever the case may be that would hinder you from pursuing your dreams. And like Sharon said earlier, if you fail to plan to fail. So continue to plan on those things that you desire as far as pursuing your passion. And again, I promise you, you won't regret it. And I'll talk with you guys later. So let's talk about the dancing. I thought that the story that you shared with me was an amazing story. So can you talk to our Yapanians about that whole experience? So let's talk about the dancing. I think that was an amazing story that you shared with me. So can you also share that with Here we are again with Yaya.